Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Me and my wife, we just moved out to Phoenix, Arizona about a year and a half ago for my job. As we moved, she was job hunting, and, she follows a lot of social media, some influencers, and she's like, man, I can do this. So she was kind of doing that on the side, kind of fun, creative thing for her to do while she was job hunting. And a year and a half later, she's kind of blown up all over social media. I mean, she's about to hit 1 million subscribers, a little over on some TikToks and Instagram. And we're starting to get some pretty big brand sponsorship, some ad revenue, just stuff like that that's reaching out to us, people asking about doing a podcast with her. We haven't said yes to any of this. We don't know how it's really going to affect our family's life. I know you guys kind of handle this. We don't know if it's like, is this something that's going to work out well for us? Do we pursue this? And it's a lot of money that some of these brands are throwing at us, or people
what's a lot of money? How much
podcasts? Money? People asking podcasts.
No, I'm talking about how much money. Give me a dollar figure. You're talking about
we've had a podcast reach.
Go ahead.
We haven't cashed in anything yet. We're just kind of on standby because we don't know how it's going to affect our family. If we want our family lives on social media, we're starting to have kids. But we've had podcast people reach out and say, hey, let's do an episode, 75,000. We've had ad revenue say, hey, make a video with our product in it. We'll give you 10 grand or 15 grand. And that's for a 30-second video on TikTok.
And that number is really real. Quick. The other one's bullcrap.
Okay.
Nobody's paying you $75,000 an episode for a podcast that hadn't launched.
That's what we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Well, no. People who have a podcast want her to come on the.
And they're going to pay her $75,000 for being a guest.
That's what people are throwing at us. That's like the high end.
Like the actual podcaster or some goober agent.
Like some goober agent.
Yeah.
We don't know what's real.
I'm calling BS. Okay.
Maybe on that. But on social, it is very common for that size of an audience
to get paid. The ad revenue is very real. That's why I said the first number is very real.
Yes.
Okay. And even more. That could be even a conservative number. The podcast number is not. I've done 5 or 6 podcasts this week, and I hadn't been paid for one.
Right. So
right.
We don't know.
And my footprint's a little larger than you're talking about.
I agree. That's why we're reaching.
I'm just saying, it's just not. That's not real.
I know, but there is a whole world out there, and it is wild what people will pay. So all that to say, you guys could make, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year by her just doing this. So you're asking.
Yeah. I hear 2 questions. One is how do we control it, impacting our family, and what do we do with the money? Is that the 2 questions?
Yes, sir. Like, how lucrative is this? Is it worth doing it? And you guys, I know you guys are all over social media. And so how has it affected your family with people knowing about your lives and trying to, we just don't know, is this something we want to dive into and explore, or is this going to ruin our lives type of thing?
I think it's all on how you guys approach it, how you position it, and the role that it plays in your life. So I do think that they're very healthy to create boundaries where you guys want, and I would be stricter on the boundaries early on. And as you get used to something, maybe you're a little bit more flexible and you're like, yeah, that can kind of move. We feel good with that. I don't do it for a living, and I do think there's a world out there, where this is their world, and their life and their family is their content completely. And so with those people that I've talked to in that space, a lot of them do have very strict guidelines of times that they shoot, times they don't, because I do think this mingling of the phone and social and videoing everything for content, which is the job, essentially, I think it does affect the family in a very negative way over time. And so for you guys just to say, we can enter into this space, but from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., we're not filming this stuff. Like, we may do some content here or there throughout the day. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you have to be very, very, very intentional and seeing it as a job versus it being so fluid with your life, because people that I see do that, it
can consume you.
Yeah, it just takes over,
It consumes everything if you're not careful. It's like a reality TV show being in your house.
Yeah, that's it. And you're the camera crew. Yeah, totally.
So the other piece I would add to that is just to say, you can make decisions about kids and those kinds of things. You also need to make decisions about subjects that are not going to be on the air.
Right.
What parts of our life are our life, and they don't go on the air. The first 10 years Rachel was married, no one ever saw Winston. He hated it. Now he's Mr. Internet, but in the last 2 years he's embraced it, right? But
yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
John Deloney's kids' faces don't show up on his. He puts cartoon fake covers over them. Rachel shows her kids.
Yeah, I put mine on
and so forth. But again, Rachel made a comment there that's accurate. We're not in that business. We utilize social media, but we're not in the business of, quote, being an influencer or running a reality show over our Instagram or something. We're utilizing the platform differently. So we're monetizing it differently, number one. Number two, we don't have to have quite the shoot schedule that you guys might have.
Can I say this too?
Yeah.
I would, and I don't know how you would, discern this, Josh, but somewhere along the lines that this can be an industry, I think, because I could feel myself get into it, that you make money so fast and pretty quick. Like he's true, yeah, I need 3 stories back to back and we'll pay you $15,000. And you're like, oh my God. It can end up being golden handcuffs where you're making so much. You're making, $400, $500 plus $1,000 a year. And it is work. I'm not saying it's not, but it's like, how could we say no? If it ever got to a point where it's stressful and it's starting to ruin the family, it could be a hard no to stop because it's such lucrative money. Does that make sense?
You get addicted to it.
Well, yeah, and it's like even if it's ruining us, it's such easy. It's money's right there. Like, oh my gosh, that would be so hard. So it's like there would be some hard and fast rules of stopping if you could lay out ahead of time, which I think is hard, but. It can be a golden handcuff kind of thing where you end up sacrificing the family in a sense, even if it's going down, because it's just a lot of money. Does that make sense? And people feel that in other jobs too. But
Rachel's in a group of ladies that you would know all of their names, and they meet periodically that are friends, and some of them that is their gig, and so she's getting the inside scoop on what they're making in that group, and I'm not in the middle of that, but I've heard the numbers, and I know some of the ladies we're talking about, and they are making bank. So her advice is dead on. What I would tell you is this: the ones I see get messed up, and I'm looking in from the outside, are the ones who this becomes their God, rather than God being their God, and rather than their family is first, their relationships are first, and this is just a job. That's all it is. And so it doesn't take over. It's in the 4th rung down the ladder of importance. So we get to it when we get to it. But we're not sacrificing the child's mental health or our personal relationship, and we're not violating people, But other than that, I think you try it. I think you put some boundaries on it and move forward, and don't believe everything you hear, and try to cash some checks. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.